And we're about to now enter the big story segment of the Richard B. Morning Show. And as we have been telling you, it seems water restrictions will be the order of the day going forward here in Jamaica. What plans does the National Water Commission have to conserve water? They have in fact implemented water restrictions in additional parishes due to the severe drought conditions in Jamaica at this time. The restrictions aim to conserve water and manage the country's water resources effectively during this period. Joining me at this time is the acting corporate public relations manager at the National Water Commission, the NWC, Delano Williams. Good morning, Delano. How are you today, my brother?
Hey, Richie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to your listeners. Thanks for having me.
All right. Great having you on this morning at this time, at this early hour, we'd have to say, Delano. But thank you for availing yourself. Right? Yeah, man. Yes.
No problem at all.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. Now, I note that additional restrictions are being put in a number of additional parishes. Tell us about where we're at with the water supplies and why this was necessary.
Okay. All right. So we've seen approximately 10% or about 44 systems that are affected by the drought conditions affecting the island. Most of these systems are in the eastern end of the island. So St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, Kingston and St. Andrew, and also St. Thomas are the parishes that have at least 5 systems affected. Mm-hmm. 24 of these 44 systems are operating at below 50%. Again, what we've seen is that typically you normally have rainfall May and June. That's one of the rainy seasons. Jamaica has 2 rainy seasons, May and June, and also between September through to November. We've not seen any significant rainfall in May and June. So a lot of what would normally come in to replenish these river sources has now declined, right? Mm-hmm. As a result, the water supply regulations or water management activities have had to come in place. Today, for instance, the second phase of the Kingston and St. Andrew water supply regulations come into play. So areas served by Constant Spring will start to have water regulated between the locations below Ministry of Justice, which is Halfway Tree, Hagley Park, Cassia Park, Eastwood Gardens, those areas.
Yes.
They will be served during the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. timeline. Mm-hmm. The areas above Ministry of Justice will start seeing water supply only during the evening time.
And that is northwards up to say what, Manor Park, Stone Hill?
Northwards up to Manor Park, yes.
Okay.
So you're looking at Mannings Hill Road areas such as Charlton Avenue, areas such as Red Hills Road, Valentine Gardens, Queensboro, Queensberry, Calabar Mews, areas in Patrick City, Duane Park, areas in Havendale also. Mm-hmm. And Roehampton will be affected with this regulation.
Only 6 p.m. onwards, you said?
To 6
in the morning.
So they will get water in the evening, 6 p.m. until the following morning by 6 a.m. Typically, we say between, Richie, because the areas, when we do the rotation of the water supply, not all areas will have water immediately. It will take some time for the lines to charge. So some persons may find that there is a little bit of delay. There are some roads off of Mannings Hill, for instance, they take some time to charge up. a section of Red Hills, the Donmere area, Swansea Avenue, those locations, they also take some time for the lines to charge up. So we're asking persons to be patient. But if it's prolonged beyond that 2-hour window, so if when we rotate at 6 p.m., you're not seeing water by 8 p.m., you can call us or message us and let us know.
Mm-hmm. How long are these
Right.
water restrictions expected to remain in place, Delano? And what are the criteria that you'd use for lifting them?
Okay, so the Met Office is what we're guided by. Their projection is that sometime in September, maybe early October, we can expect to see improved water supply levels. That is what is guiding us before we can say, all right, lift any kind of regulations. We will be looking, for instance, for significant rainfall that will bring our storage levels back for the Mona above, anywhere above maybe 70% to guarantee us that we can get back through to December, January, and so on. Mm-hmm. At this point, the Mona is below 50%. We are somewhere about 45, 46%.
Wow.
The Hermitage Dam, and I give you some instance after this. The Hermitage Dam is also in the mid 50s. So both facilities are below 50% collectively, and typically regulations would have started once they dip below 65%. So we've waited several weeks later because we were anticipating at least some weeks of significant rainfall that would have made, we wouldn't have had a regulation if what the normal year's rainfall trends had occurred.
Got you. Now,
Right.
now, go ahead. You had something to say. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, when you're ready, we can talk about the other eastern parishes in terms of the overall set of steps that we have had to implement.
Let's go to that right away because people are out there listening and they want to know. Yes, go ahead.
All right. So we've not just come to regulations by itself because that means a disruption. It means an adjustment in time for persons. So we've interconnected a number of our pipeline networks to move water from one water supply plant to another in order to serve our customers. That is one of the steps we're doing. So, for instance, the Rio Cobre system extends into Western St. Andrew. So the excess water that we have from the Portmore area, based on the gains of the NRW program there, we're sharing that water with Kingston. We're looking at timely leak repairs, so any large mains that we have that we're losing water, similarly the small mains, all of those add up. We're looking to minimize the water losses on those. The rolling out of the available trucks, both the NWC's fleet and whatever contracted truckers we have, those are now getting into gear to deliver water to the locations that we cannot serve via pipe. And then, of course, the regulation itself balances out. The one last thing is, for instance, in Kingston and St. Andrew, we have 3 wells that they don't operate all year round. So we save them for the times such as drought to make water available. So we have some additional water from the Beverly Hills well and also 2 wells in the crossroad areas. We call them Montgomery and Cavalier wells. Mm-hmm. Those are now being brought into operation to beef up the supply that we get from the Mona and Constant Spring networks.
So for the most part, the eastern parishes are the ones that are mostly affected right now.
Yes. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, Richie, we had heavy downpour in a number of parishes yesterday. Mobe, Lucy had rains, Westmoreland had rains. Those parishes are where we're seeing better rainfall. So most of the river sources, which are more prone to the dry spell, are still running at pretty much near full capacity. We're watching, for instance, the southern belt. So some of those locations where farming practices also are quite extensive. We're monitoring those to see if the demand for water. So while our systems may be running, for instance, in St. Elizabeth, sometimes farmers may not have enough rain. So there is a pull on water commission now to help to fill the gap. So the drought affects us in a knock-on effect kind of way, meaning we're getting more demand because their own systems may not be running because some persons rely on rainfall.
Yes.
So we're monitoring those to see if what the demand is looking like and how we can assist as we go through. But substantially, it's just the eastern parishes, yes. St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, KSA, and St. Thomas. We're watching the Clarendon and St. Catherine areas. So far, those are pretty good.
Okay. What are the expectations of residents and businesses during this period?
Well, we know it's an adjustment, and we really want to apologize for the inconvenience. Again, we're saying that this is the absolute latest we've started regulations because we've held it as long as we could. 2023, we started in February. We've been able to learn some lessons how to better manage. Last year, we started in April. This year, it's a July. So hopefully in the next 2 years, when we have improvement, we won't be there. But for right now, persons have to exercise some patience and where they possibly can adjust some of your activities to conserve water. So the non-essential activities, we're asking you to scale those back. So if you don't have to wash the cars as often, please don't. Washing off of pavements, please don't. Check for leaks in your homes. Repair any that you're finding. And as a general rule, over time, look at your devices or fixtures in your home and see how many of them you can improve so that they are using water saving or being more water efficient. So the toilet tanks, for instance, the older ones, and if you have a toilet tank over 20 years, you're probably looking at 5 to 7 gallons per flush. The newer ones use a third of that, so they're using less than 2 gallons per flush. So you can save some water there, and the kitchen and the faucets, shower head, and so on, those can be equipped with water-saving devices.
In times like these, do you have exemptions, special arrangements? How do you treat with hospitals and schools and so on?
Well, absolutely. So we still maintain. So the regulations, especially for the KSA area, allow us to still maintain water supply within a 24-hour period. We've been working with those institutions, the hospitals, police stations, the schools to a lesser extent because some schools are out now fully, but we provide water to them on a daily basis. And where necessary, we are on call to assist with whatever trucking or regulation we can operate to assist in emergencies.
Will residents...
So that's an absolute essential thing for them.
Right.
The residents who are located in elevated areas where when we turn the valves, water is not getting to them sufficiently, we will also note those and whether we make a separate arrangement for them in terms of water supply or we mobilize trucking to assist those locations.
Are we at the point where persons who breach these regulations will, possibly
no, not yet.
be fined? No?
And hopefully not.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So that's when the prohibition notice comes into place. and to make it unlawful for persons to do some non-essential activities. Hopefully we don't get there. As I said, the rain has been falling. Yesterday I was on the toll. The rain was all the way up to Linstead. When we got down to Angels, it was dry. So I kept looking on the Kingston Hills, St. Andrew Hills, hoping we would see some sustained rainfall, but
didn't happen.
We're hopeful, Richie.
Yes, we are. I guess there are systems in place at the NWC to monitor the effectiveness and evaluate the effectiveness of these water restrictions going forward, eh?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So the general equipping of the network means we can measure the flow coming from the rivers to the water plants, and also the flows coming out to our customers. And so what we're aiming to do is to utilize the downtime of the systems to replenish. So for instance, the Mona network, we shut off in the evenings at 6 p.m., allow water to come into the storage and into the treatment plant, and then we start operations the following morning. So each day, each night, we take readings to see how those inflows look, and we can make decisions as we go forward.
Mm-hmm. I guess when you get right down to it, I mean, we obviously need to address the root causes of these droughts that we have experienced, and find a way to ensure that we have sustainable water supplies across the island of Jamaica. We know that there have been several announcements, and even as we speak, works are in progress to improve our water supply. But yes, I tell you, we just hope that it comes to fruition very, very soon.
Well, I'm happy you mentioned that, because a couple of those are far advanced. The Rio Cobre, for instance, is now fully underway, which means that we're looking at about 2 years for that system to be delivering 15 million gallons to the KSA area. We broke ground recently, just about the 4th of July, for the Western Resilience Water Network. That's for areas between Trelawney going out to Negril. The Agualta Vale system, which is serving St. Mary, is also in high gear. We're now looking to take possession of some wells that will provide water to Islington, Robbins Bay, and Highgate areas. A lot of the pumps themselves are either on order or some have been installed. So it's the pipeline work and the wells that we're looking now to complete to bring water improvement to that side. We've done some work in Mason Hall, which is a part of the St. Mary Water Supply Improvement Program again. So significant works are in place, and we've started the assessment of the expansion. You remember we've always been talking about building new dams, new reservoirs. So the assessment for the Hermitage Dam is now getting started. We've just signed off on some agreements with the consultants for that. Once that is finished, we'll know the cost and timeline to move ahead with expanding the Hermitage storage capacity, and then we will switch over to the Mona as well.
Okay.
So all of these form part of the greater move to make our water supply more resilient to shocks like droughts, and also give us buffers for the seasons of hurricane and any other natural disasters we may face.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to add my voice to that of yours and many others to say to all residents and businesses across the island of Jamaica, it's time for us to conserve water, fix those leaks as quickly as you can, turn off taps when they're not in use, limit the outdoor water use, and I guess we can also say, Delano, reuse water where possible, because really and truly every drop counts, eh?
Every drop counts.
Yeah, man. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it this morning, and you have a great day. Thank you, Delano. Take care.
No problem. Thanks, Richie. Thanks for having me.
Always